Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. India slams Pakistan at the UNSA, says it has experienced decades of Islamabad-sponsored terror attacks, also slams Pakistan's disinformation on Indus Water Treaty. India's global outreach against terrorism continues. Delegations in UAE and Japan convey India's strong anti-terror message. Monsoon arrives in India, earliest onset over Indian mainland since 2009, hits Kerala 8 days early. An India squad for England tour announced Shubman Gill to be India's test captain. Pant announced his deputy. Sai Sudarshan Karun Nair named in 18-member squad. India called out Pakistan's grossly hypocritical behavior at the UN Security Council, saying a nation that makes no distinction between terrorists and civilians has no credentials to speak about protecting civilians. Delhi highlighted that the Pakistani army deliberately shelled Indian border villages earlier this month, killing civilians and intentionally targeted places of worship. Speaking at the UNSC open debate on the protection of civilians in armed conflict, India's permanent representative to the UN, Ambassador Harish Puri, accused Islamabad of lacking the moral authority to address civilian protection, citing its track record of sponsoring terrorism and targeting civilians.
India has experienced decades of Pakistani-sponsored terrorist attacks across our borders. This has ranged from the horrific 26/11 attack on the city of Mumbai to the barbaric mass murder of innocent tourists in Pahalgam in April 2025. Pakistan has repeatedly used a civilian cover to advance the cause of terrorism. We just recently saw senior government, police and military officials pay respects at the funeral of noted terrorists targeted by Operation Sindoor. A nation that makes no distinction between terrorists and civilians has no credentials to speak about protecting civilians. There was intentional targeting of places of worship, including gurudwaras, temples and convents, as well as medical facilities. To preach at this body after such behavior is grossly hypocritical. Let us be clear. Protection of civilians should not serve as an argument for protection of UN-designated terrorists.
India also ripped through Pakistan's disinformation at the UN on the Indus Water Treaty, asserting that Islamabad violated its spirit by inflicting 3 wars and thousands of terror attacks on India that seek to hold hostage lives of civilians, religious harmony and economic prosperity.
India entered into the Indus Water Treaty 65 years ago in good faith. The preamble of the treaty describes that the treaty was concluded in a spirit of goodwill and friendship. Throughout the 6.5 decades, Pakistan has violated the spirit of the treaty by inflicting 3 wars and thousands of terror attacks on India. However, Pakistan has continued to block consistently any changes to this infrastructure and any modifications of the provisions which is permissible under the treaty. In fact, in 2012, terrorists even attacked the Tulbul navigation project in Jammu and Kashmir. These cynical acts continue to endanger safety of our projects and lives of civilians. It is against this backdrop that India has finally announced that the treaty will be in abeyance until Pakistan, which is a global epicenter of terror, credibly and irrevocably ends its support for cross-border terrorism.
India has intensified its diplomatic efforts to get Pakistan re-included in the Financial Action Task Force grey list. The move comes after the terror attack in Pahalgam, Jammu and Kashmir on April 22, 2025, in which 26 innocent civilians lost their lives. India is preparing to present a detailed dossier at the FATF plenary session meeting to be held in France in June 2025. The dossier will contain evidence of Pakistan's repeated failure to stop terror financing and misuse of international funds. Pakistan has not taken effective action against UN-designated terrorist groups such as Lashkar-e-Toiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed. Pakistan was previously on the FATF grey list from 2018 to 2022. due to which it faced difficulties in accessing international financial assistance. India argues that the decision to remove Pakistan from the grey list was premature, as it is still not fully capable of stopping terrorism financing. Being included in the grey list can have a profound impact on Pakistan's economy, as it reduces the confidence of international banks and financial institutions, making it difficult to obtain investments and loans. India plans to strongly raise this issue before the member countries of FATF. These countries include countries like America, United Kingdom, Japan and India. India needs the unanimous support of all member countries to get its point across. For this, India has already started bilateral discussions with many countries and is raising its concerns at global forums. India has also recently raised allegations of Pakistan sponsoring terrorist activities at the United Nations and other international forums. This issue is also important for global counter-terrorism efforts. All right. In line with his commitment to take all the states together as Team India for a Vixit Bharat, Prime Minister Modi chaired the 10th Governing Council meeting of Niti Aayog in New Delhi. We are getting you the shots from Niti Aayog. This year's theme is Vixit Rajya for Vixit Bharat at 2047, with the central focus on states and thereby making India a developed nation. Measures for promoting entrepreneurship, enhancing skilling and creating sustainable employment opportunities across the country also deliberated in the meeting. The Governing Council of Niti Aayog also focused on the themes of the 4th National Conference of Chief Secretaries held during 13th to 15th December 2024. Vixit Bharat is the goal of every Indian. When every state is Vixit, then Bharat will be Vixit. This is the aspiration of his 140 crore citizens, said Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Another all-party delegation led by Congress MP Shashi Tharoor, including members from the BJP, Telugu Desam Party and Jharkhand Mukti Morcha Party, is visiting Guyana to spread united message against terrorism. The group will transit through New York, where they will be visiting the 9/11 memorial before heading to their first destination, Guyana. Before his departure, Shashi Tharoor said that the delegation will share India's stance on terrorism and tell the world how India has been suffering from the past many years. The delegation will also be visiting USA, Panama, Brazil and Colombia.
The reason we're going is to speak for the nation, to speak about this horrendous crisis we were subjected to, in which our country was attacked by terrorists in the cruelest possible way. We need to speak up with clarity and conviction for our country, for our response, and to give the world the message that we will not be silenced by terrorism. And we don't want the world to look away either. We don't want indifference to triumph over the truth. It's a mission of peace. It's a mission of hope. And it's a mission that will one day remind the world that India stands for all the values we need to preserve in the world today, of peace, of democracy, of freedom, and not of hatred, of killing, and of terror. Jai Hind.
India continues its global campaign against Pakistan's sponsored terrorism, with all-party delegations engaged in diplomatic efforts and visiting key countries to spread the message of zero tolerance against terrorism. The all-party delegation, led by BJP's Member of Parliament Baijan Panda, reached Bahrain earlier today, where they were received by Ambassador Vinod K. Jacob at the airport. The delegation will hold key engagements highlighting India's unwavering stand against cross-border terrorism. The group, including MPs from the BJP, AIMIM and other parties, along with former diplomats like Harshvardhan Shringla, will also be visiting Kuwait, Saudi Arabia and Algeria. And the all-party parliamentary delegation led by JDU MP Sanjay Jha interacted with members of the Indian diaspora at the embassy in Japan. The delegation presented a unified front of India, clearly explaining the role of Pakistan in the gruesome terror attacks in Pahalgam on April 22nd and how India, through Operation Sindoor, destroyed the terror bases in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Further, they emphasized India's zero tolerance to terrorism and conveyed the messages that terror and talks cannot go together, blood and water cannot flow together. They reaffirmed India's unwavering commitment to combating cross-border terrorism and urged the Indian diaspora to continue to spread this message to every corner of Japan. And the delegation concluded their visit by paying floral tributes to freedom fighter Ras Bihari Bose at Tama Cemetery in Tokyo on the eve of his birth anniversary today. Meanwhile, all-party delegation led by DMK leader and MP Kanimuri Karunanidhi met leaders, thinkers and lawmakers in Russia, conveying India's message against terrorism.
They understand that it is a very, very important point the world is facing, and it is an issue which does not affect India. It affects the entire world, and no country should be harboring, terrorists, training them or supporting them or allowing them to use that country to create their base.
Meanwhile, the all-party delegation led by Shiv Sena MP Dr. Shrikant Eknath Shinde have successfully concluded their highly productive visit to the UAE, further strengthening India-UAE cooperation in the fight against terrorism in all its forms and manifestations. And India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar shared his remarks on how India and Germany can upgrade their ties as the two countries mark 25 years of this strategic partnership. Dr. Jaishankar, who is visiting Germany, made these remarks during an interaction at German Council on Foreign Relations and acknowledged German support to India after Pahalgam terrorist attack.
When it comes to terrorism, I think today, there's virtually no country which would say, I approve of what is done, or no country which would say, I don't condemn what was done. And if I were to say, I have the right to defend myself, my people, I have the right to secure my country, I think much of the world would agree with me. And I'm happy to say that Germany does. We are very encouraged both by the very early condemnation of the terrorist attack, as well as the very clear message which we got on the 7th of May and again today from Minister Wadeful, that Germany recognizes India's right to defend itself against terrorism.
The External Affairs Minister offered suggestions on collaboration in several areas to take the ties ahead, listing down the challenges which the modern world has brought forth, such as the chips war, climate change, poverty, damage done by the COVID pandemic, amongst others. External Affairs Minister expressed confidence in the India-Germany ties to face them. Sharing his engagements in Germany, he noted that time is ripe to think about the next 25 years and how we can fully realize the potential of India-Germany ties. He expressed optimism for trade ties to grow between the two countries, and an FTA with the EU would help in that regard.
India and Germany are part of a group called G4, which has been trying to press for a much more contemporary United Nations. So there is a global agenda. There should be an effort for deeper conversations. We need to build up a stronger bilateral collaboration. And much of that, in my view, can be achieved or can be furthered by an expeditious conclusion of an India-European free trade agreement. A free trade agreement in today's context, particularly because for the European Union, in many ways it has been a very key pillar of its foreign policy engagements. To conclude an FTA agreement has a significance beyond trade, beyond investment, beyond economics.
Bangladesh's chief advisor Mohammad Yunus is set to meet with key party leaders in capital Dhaka today. The meetings with the Bangladesh Nationalist Party and Jamaat-e-Islami aim to discuss the current political situation and elections. BNP will meet with Yunus at 7:30 p.m. local time, where they are set to discuss the present situation and elections as confirmed by the party's media cell. This comes days after Yunus reportedly voiced his desire to resign. Yunus, who leads the caretaker government as its chief advisor until elections are held, has called for rival political parties jostling for power to give him their full support. Shifting focus to international updates now, Russia on early Saturday attacked Ukraine's capital Kiev with drones and missiles, triggering fires, strewing debris throughout the city, forcing many Kiev residents to take shelter in underground subway stations. Ukrainian Air Force said that Russia fired 14 ballistic missiles on Kiev. The city's military administration said that at least 14 people were killed in the airstrikes, and the explosions led to fires in several places across the city. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky urged more international sanctions on Russia. This nighttime attack came hours after Russia and Ukraine began a major prisoner exchange that was agreed by both sides in Istanbul last week. Meanwhile, Russian forces continued its operation in several directions in Ukraine. In daily briefing, the Russian Defense Ministry said that the Russian forces brought under control 6 settlements in Sumy, Kharkiv and Donetsk between May 17 to 23rd. The ministry also said that Russian air defense systems intercepted guided bombs and more than 1,000 drones of the Ukrainian forces. All right, still to come on this edition of DD India Live. The Cannes Film Festival draws to a close today, and we get you the latest updates from there. And Napoli wins its second Serie A title in 3 years after edging out Inter Milan by 1 point.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. The southwest monsoon has officially arrived in Kerala, marking its onset today, the 24th of May 2025. That's 8 days earlier than the usual date of June 1st. This year's early arrival makes it the earliest monsoon onset over Kerala since 2009, when it began on May 23rd. And if you look further back, the earliest onset on record since 1975 was in 1990, when the monsoon arrived as early as May 19th, a full 13 days ahead of the normal schedule. With the monsoon setting in early, eyes are now on its progress across the country. The India Met Department has predicted extremely heavy rainfall likely to occur at isolated places over Konkan and Goa, central Maharashtra, coastal Karnataka and south interior Karnataka and Kerala today. Meanwhile, extremely heavy rainfall is expected today in 2 northern Kerala districts of Kannur and Kasargodu, with the IMD declaring red alert in these districts. IMD has also put 5 northern districts from Malappuram to Kasargodu on red alert on Sunday. The conditions are likely to be more favorable for advancement of monsoon in most parts of the northeast India during the next 2 days. India Met Department has issued yellow alert in various districts of Assam. As per latest report, none of the rivers are flowing above danger level in Assam, and none of the population or animals have been affected. And in response to the flood-related risk, the Assam administration has activated its emergency response systems. Authorities focused on identifying vulnerable zones and ensuring that preventive measures are in place to mitigate the impacts of the rainfall. And for unlocking the brightest potential of the northeastern part of India, the Union government has prepared a blueprint. DD India's Vishal Barrister finds out more with the Union Minister for Skill Development at the two-day summit held in Delhi.
Skilling for AI readiness. Yes, this is the buzzword for Northeast, and I have with me the Union Minister for Skill. Let's talk to him and find out. This is the project that everybody is looking forward to.
Thank you. We've had a series of engagement and discussion with all the stakeholders, including the boards, our education ministry, NCRT, and of course, domain experts, people from industry. And now we've created the modules and we are ready to roll it out from 6th to 12th. Very soon we'll be inaugurating it, and it will be a great opportunity for young people to undergo an assessment, a self-assessment at online exam, online course, and get a certificate and credit for the same.
You've spoken about 50% apprenticeship and 50% education.
Yes, embedded apprenticeship degree program is being rolled out. UGC has already got guidelines in place, and several universities have come forward and accepted and taken the program. MOUs are also being signed as we speak. And it's a great opportunity for young people in the engineering colleges, in even doing a BCom or a B.Ed, to get exposed to the kind of shorter duration skilling courses that are required by industry and employers today. Another vital thing that we've done for the Northeast, instituted a great reform, and we're going to track it for the next 1 year, is our increase in the stipend support given to our NAPS, under NAPS scheme, National Apprenticeship Promotion Scheme. This is a scheme where pathways for young people to get gainful employment are opened up through industry. What we were finding was that this scheme was not getting enough traction in the Northeast because there were challenges. Local industry levels were low compared relatively to the rest of the nation. And also a lot of the young talent from Northeast had to migrate for employment opportunities. So what we've done is that anyone from the Northeast with Northeast domicile, whether they're working here in Delhi or Mumbai, if they want to become an apprentice, they should come forward, sign up for the scheme. And we are going to give them double the stipend support that is available for other beneficiaries throughout other regions.
So there you heard the minister. Northeast is all set for a big leap, and leapfrog is all because of the Modi government that is taking keen interest in the northeastern region. With cameraman Rana in Delhi, this is Vishal Barrister for DD India.
Talking about Cannes Film Festival, 10 years after Monsoon, Neeraj Ghewan returns to uncertain regard at the competition section at Cannes Film Festival with Homebound, a drama following two childhood friends. Neeraj Ghewan talks exclusively to DD India about overwhelming response Homebound getting at Cannes.
I'm at Cannes Film Festival, and right now I'm very thrilled to be speaking to one of the most compelling voices of Indian cinema right now. We have Neeraj Ghewan with us. It was great. You got the much needed, well-deserved, overwhelming standing ovation at the screening of Homebound. Tell us about that.
It meant so much, you're sitting there with your entire crew, finally watching the film. I've seen the film 100 times, but मेरे को लगा अब क्यों रो रहे हो? But suddenly just sitting there, and all people from all across the world, and you are representing India at that stage, I just cried out, and so many people were crying. It was, overwhelming is also a small word to say.
Okay. This is not your first time at Cannes, and you have made history at Cannes earlier also with the film like Monsoon. So tell me, what's so special about Homebound?
This kind of story relates with everyone. So I think that is what was special for them.
How was working with this team, which come very different, contrasting journeys both of you have, Karan Johar and Neeraj?
I feel that I was blessed to have these people around. I'm just saying, for Karan Johar, the biggest producer in India and with the biggest studio, to back this film is something that nobody is talking about. It's a very big thing for me.
You are representing Indian cinema here. So how symbolic is it, and how Indian cinema is really creating waves at Cannes Film Festival or any other festival around the world?
Absolutely. I think also we have to acknowledge the big thing that happened last year was Payal Kapadia's film, which actually broke the jinx that we will never get selected in the main competition. She made it to the main competition, also won the top prize. she just broke the ceiling for all of us, and she has paved the way. So even this time when I came back, it felt like a homecoming for me, because I've come back after 10 years to the same place where it all started for me.
That is Mr. Neeraj Ghewan here at Cannes, making India proud with amazing film called Homebound, which is taking Indian cinema around the world. With camera person Sumit, this is Jaya Sinha reporting for DD India from Cannes.
And the Board of Control for Cricket in India on Saturday announced India's test squad for England tour. The Ajit Agarkar-led committee named Shubman Gill as new test captain, while wicketkeeper batter Rishabh Pant has been announced his deputy. Gill succeeds recently retired Rohit Sharma. Karun Nair, who scored a triple ton against England in his debut series in 2016, makes a comeback to the national squad after almost 8 years. Besides Karun Nair, Sai Sudarshan has also been rewarded for his performance in the IPL. Also, he has done well in domestic cricket. Notably, Mohammad Shami, Sarfaraz Khan and Harshit Rana has been left out from the 18-man squad. Football now. Napoli wins its second Serie A title in 3 years after edging out Inter Milan by 1 point on Saturday. Scott McTominay scored with an acrobatic bicycle kick before halftime, and Romelu Lukaku doubled the lead with a solo goal after the break in the decisive 2-0 home win over Cagliari. Meanwhile, Antonio Conte became the first coach to win the Italian championship with 3 different teams. That's all we have in this edition of DD India Live, but do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. From all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.